Hi, I'm James and thanks for tuning in to eBuyer. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the ASUS ROG Zephyrus G16. This is a 16-inch notebook powered by an RTX 3060 graphics card and powerful 11th generation Core i7 processor. With a 144Hz display, super fast NVMe storage and plenty of memory, this looks like a really powerful machine. And in this video, I'll be setting it up for the first time, unboxing it and testing it out with some of my favourite gaming titles to get a real idea of the notebook's performance. Let's do this. Now come on, isn't that cool? Take a look at that action replay, here we go. As you open the box, it actually raises the Zephyrus M16 nicely up. It presents it to you for you to lift out nice and easily. That is awesome. We'll come back to the notebook in a moment. First, let's just take a look at the included accessories. So you get an ROG accessory box, and then I believe on this side, we should have a power adapter. We do indeed. In fact, it's a really slimline power brick, especially considering how much wattage this laptop actually has. This is a 240 watt power brick, it says at the back, yet it's really, really small and compact, especially compared to comparable designs on the market. The box and the packaging might seem a little overkill, but I think it's great to see, especially on such a premium product. The accessory box, as I covered off earlier though, I'm guessing this just has manual and sort of warranty information. Indeed it does, nothing too interesting, but definitely useful to have and keep on hand. The notebook itself though is the bit we're obviously all most excited about. The M16 is a powerful notebook with a super fast refresh rate on its full HD display. It's got powerful hardware inside as well, from that i7 processor to the RTX graphics, that will make it great for some of the most popular games on the market. Here we go, this is moment of truth time. I'm so excited to actually open the notebook up. I think it's this way around, is it? It is indeed. That's quite cool. Oh yes, look how thin the bezels are as well on this notebook. So far, the first impressions are really good. You can see the keyboard here front and center, just above the glass trackpad, which already feels really nice to the touch. We have got no number pad, but this instead makes way for speaker grills and pretty clean in terms of the overall design. Moving round to the rear of the notebook, and one thing that's definitely worth mentioning is the lack of I/O at the back here. Often notebooks have a bulky rear design for ventilation and I/O, but the Zephyrus M16 seems to really slimline things down that little bit more. Perhaps one of the best examples of this is actually the display. This is a 16-inch display, but in a 15-inch overall notebook form factor. That gives you that extra screen real estate for increased productivity and better immersion without having to carry something round that's just plain bulky. Talking of which, let's take a look at the I/O before we actually go ahead and boot it up. So on the left-hand side here, you've got your power adapter, your DC in, alongside a HDMI, full-size RJ45 Ethernet connection, great for a gaming notebook, plugging up at a LAN party, for example, it is a must-have. You've then got a super speed USB 3 Type A port, alongside a couple of USB-C ports. These are actually mini DisplayPort USB and Thunderbolt. Of course, one of the major advantages of an Intel design is support for that Thunderbolt standard, something which you'll find super handy on other notebooks and allows you to plug up to external monitors, super fast drives, and just gives you loads of throughput. You'll also find here as well a headphone mic combo jack, or a headset port as it's more widely known. Great, once again, for a gaming notebook. While spinning round to the other side gives you a micro SD card reader, a further USB Type A full-size super speed port, a bit of ventilation, and a Kensington lock. Really nice and slimline, but definitely gives you all of the connectivity you could possibly want on a notebook like this. As I say though, let's go ahead and actually boot the design up for the first time, get Windows set up and try it out as far as gaming goes, content consumption, and cover off all of those key bases. The first game I want to test out on our ASUS Zephyrus gaming notebook is a little bit of GTA 5. Now I know Grand Theft Auto is a few years old at this point, but it's still an amazing all-round performance test. Not only are the graphics settings super advanced and detailed, so you can pinpoint exactly the areas you want to test out, but the game also has a benchmark mode that we can run by pressing the tab key, hitting enter, and allows us to get some really repeatable results. So much so, if you've got an existing gaming notebook or a gaming desktop, you can run this test at home with the same settings just about on your screen, and then see what numbers you get. See how the Zephyrus compares to what you're currently rocking and whether it really kind of warrants an upgrade. The great thing about the benchmark mode is how repeatable it is. If you guys wanted to run it on your own systems at home, whether it be a gaming notebook you're looking to swap out for something like the Zephyrus or a gaming desktop, you're absolutely able to do so. And straight off the bat, we're sitting around 130 frames per second. The GTA 5 benchmark tends to increase in frame rate as it runs through, so I'd expect this to rise to about 160, 170 later, but these are some really solid results out of the doors. Here you go, up to 160 already. I was bang on with my prediction there, and the screen also looks pretty good in this test. You will be able to hear the fans of the notebook spooling up a little bit. This is because of the powerful hardware inside, and particularly because of the small form factor of the notebook. Because it's just so thin, you're reliant upon the screen actually lifting up the keyboard to provide plenty of airflow to the underneath of the device where the intake fans are situated. That's something you're always going to have to take into account with a gaming notebook over a desktop. You're confining powerful hardware into a much smaller enclosure, and as such, cooling does need to be beefed up, whether it's a thicker design, a bigger form factor, louder fans, more heat sinks, whatever it is, you're gonna have to have something. So the Zephyrus tries to strike that balance. It's a little bit louder, but it is very thin as far as gaming notebooks go. In fact, one of the thinnest RTX laptops I've seen to date that can deliver these kind of performance figures. Next up then is CSGO. Now this notebook's got a 144Hz refresh rate, meaning we could take advantage of higher frame rates in a game like CSGO. Just got a bit distracted there. We're running at around about 200, 300 frames per second at the moment. I have got a frame rate counter in the top left, but this is small, so I'll read out the numbers we achieve as we go along. CSGO is a game where that high frame rate really makes a massive difference, but of course to realise the impact of this, you need a high refresh rate monitor or display. That's where that 144Hz panel really comes in strong. Lovely stuff, look at that, still sitting around about 200 frames per second as well. Go for the triple kill, we've only gone and done it. Oh yes, beautiful. I'm a little bit exposed though here. I do need to kind of move over to a slightly better location. Still getting some great results in CSGO though, that really high frame rate most definitely helping us out. Couple here to finish us off. Nicely does it. Great result in CSGO, really enjoyable playable experience on the ROG Zephyrus G16. The screen test is the next major thing I wanted to try out on our Zephyrus notebook. You can see here that the colours look really vivid. This skateboard shot looks amazing in particular, dynamic range is pretty good, and the 16:10 aspect ratio does add these little black bars. You won't find this in certain content that's shot for the format, but otherwise it looks great. The image is sharp, it looks good to the eye, colours are also pretty nice. We've got no horrible tints to any of the image either. All in all, just really quite good, and would work great for not only gaming, but also consuming content on YouTube or Netflix or anything like that. But what about if you want to take off that pair of headphones and you want to actually use the speakers built into the notebook? Well, I'm glad to report that dedicated media control keys make it easy to adjust volume, mute your microphone and jump into the ASUS ROG software, and our test track will give us a good idea of just how good the inbuilt speakers are. Around about 60% volume now, jumping up to about 80%, that's quite loud. That doesn't actually sound too bad. Let's go all the way up to full volume. Feels a tiny bit sharp at full volume, but otherwise the speakers are absolutely sufficient. Of course, most users of this device will be wearing a pair of surround sound headphones from ASUS ROG or others when playing the latest AAA titles or even CSGO, where the spatiality of the sound is super important. But having a solid pair of speakers built in on the right and the left-hand side of the notebook is great for casual content consumption, Zoom calls, whether it's back to school, gaming, whatever it might be. It's just a nice addition to any product. With that though, that pretty much wraps it up for our first look, unboxing and short review of the ASUS ROG Zephyrus G16. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to get subscribed to the eBuyer YouTube channel to see more from me and others. Thank you for tuning in though, and as always, we'll see you soon.